Good afternoon and welcome. You're watching News Central now on News Central TV. My name is Mazino Appeal. The top stories this hour. Petrol to cost more as depot owners raise price to 950 naira per litre. And police threaten to sue Amnesty International over death claims in End Bad Governance protests report. And also rescue operations for trapped illegal miners resume in South African mine shaft. Details following now. Let's begin by telling you that Premium Motor Spirits, PMS, also known as Petrol, would likely cost more as depot owners have increased prices by about 4.74%. This follows the recent increase of crude oil prices, including Nigeria's Bonny Light, to $80 per barrel this week from $73 per barrel last week. Already some depots, including Swift Depot, have increased their loading price to 950 naira per litre from 907 naira per litre, while Wosbab Depot also increased its price to 950 naira per litre from 909 naira per litre. Similarly, Sahara Depot increased its price to 950 naira per litre from 910 naira per litre, while Shellplux increased its loading price to 960 naira per litre from 908 naira per litre. And now to politics. The River State Court has nullified the congresses conducted by the People's Democratic Party in the state in 2024. The court also restrained the State Executive Committee of the PDP from overseeing the affairs of the party and barred Aaron Chukwuemeka from parading himself as the chairman. Stephen Jumbo, the presiding judge, gave the order while ruling on an interlocutory injunction filed by Edwin Woko and Love Otunye, both lawyers, and two other PDP members. The suit was instituted against Chukwuemeka and 9 others. The petitioners asked the court to declare the local government and ward congresses of the party held in 2024 as null and void. To discuss this, we are joined by legal practitioner Henry Ekine. Henry, you're welcome. Thank you very much this afternoon for joining us. Now, Henry, I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm going to go ahead with my question. Unfortunately, I'm being informed that we do not have that connection with Henry at the moment. Apologies, we'll bring that up in a subsequent conversation. And now, moving on to other news details for this afternoon. Rumors about the purported defection of the governor of Delta State, South Nigeria, Sheriff Janurary, to the All Progressives Congress have been verified by the State Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Riverine and Public Information, Charles Anyagu. Anyagu revealed this information to journalists in Asaba shortly after assuming office at the Ministry of Information, following a minor cabinet reshuffle by the state governor. News Central's correspondent Austin Azu brings us the details.
Over the weekend, speculation emerged on Delta State social media platforms regarding a minor cabinet reshuffle by Governor Sheriff Janurary, which included the redeployment of Ifeanyi Oswoza, the former Commissioner for Information, to Government House as Commissioner for Special Duties, and Charles Anyagu, the immediate past Commissioner for Information, returning to head the Ministry of Information and Works, Rural Roads and Riverine.
All I know is that by the grace of God today, I'll be given the responsibility to take charge of the activities of this ministry. And there is no challenge with my ministry in the Ministry of Works. Now, what happened in terms of redeployment is a routine.
Speaking on a wide range of issues regarding the governance of the state, Anyagu debunks speculation of Governor Sheriff Janurary's defection to the APC.
Janurary is a very proud member of the People's Democratic Party. Janurary is a clear leader amongst leaders of the party in Nigeria, and Janurary is not in any way hungry to abandon the People's Democratic Party. Outstanding certificate.
Anyagu stated that the state government has proposed 150 housing units to be built across the 3 senatorial districts of the state to address housing challenges in the state. The commissioner also comments on the state's debt profile.
In the last 19 months, the man had played more than 200 billion to be able to reduce that debt profile both contractual and the ones that were also taken as loan to finance certain investments. And I cannot begin to tell you this is what is left, because number one, every day you award a project, new debt comes in. Assignment and
Charles Anyago is set to oversee the Ministry of Information and Works, rural and riverine communities. In Asaba for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Now, in the wake of the impeachment of the former Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, the new elected Speaker, Mojisola Miranda, has held a meeting with the Governor's Advisory Council, party leaders and relevant stakeholders. The Speaker, after the closed-door meeting, addressed members of the press that the aim of the meeting was to deliberate on the impeachment which happened at the House of Assembly yesterday and seek their blessings to carry on as the new Speaker. Now to security matters. Eyewitnesses in Kandi, or rather Kankidawa, Gidangoga community located in the Muradun local government area in Zamfara state say over 16 persons reportedly lost their lives following the airstrike by the Nigerian Air Force, with many still missing. They also added that about 9 confirmed to be injured, have been discharged from the hospital, with 1 still in critical condition. Meanwhile, the state government has gifted the sum of 500,000 naira to each of the victims injured during the recent Air Force bombing at Zumi and Maradun local government areas of the state. The governor, Daud Lawal, made this known while paying a condolence visit to the affected victims of the strikes. News Central's correspondent in Zamfara State visited the scene of the airstrikes and spoke to several persons in the community. We're going to introduce now Emmanuel Bagudu. Are you there? Can we have you already? Let's see if we can get some information from you this afternoon regarding the situation. Well, we're still trying to establish communication with our correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu in Zamfara State. Unfortunately, we're unable to do that at this time. A little technical difficulty, but we will be bringing you that discussion after. In the meantime, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has deployed a high-level fact-finding team to Zamfara State over alleged accidental bombing of civilian casualties during Saturday's operation by the NAF in the state. The accidental bombing reportedly happened in Kakindawa village, Maradun local government area of Zamfara state, with 16 vigilantes allegedly killed. The accidental bombing reportedly happened in Kakindawa village, Maradun local government area of Zamfara state, with 16 vigilantes killed, 10 patients injured during the Nigerian Air Force erroneous bombing at Gidangiga Kankidawa village in Maradun local government area have been discharged from hospital. And the Sokoto State Commander of the Nigerian Immigration Service, the NIS, has pledged to bolster border security in response to threats posed by the emerging Lakurawa sect. The State Comptroller Yusuf Bage made the commitment on Monday while addressing the leadership of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, who paid him a courtesy visit in Sokoto. Bage highlighted the security risks associated with the Lakurawa sect, describing it as a growing concern in the region. He noted that members of the sect often infiltrate the country through illegal entry points, further complicating efforts to maintain security. Bage emphasized the importance of effective border management, assuring that the command remains committed to safeguarding Nigeria's territorial integrity. Now let's go on a break, and when we get back, House of Reps reaffirm commitments to providing essential support to military in tracking and tackling insecurity. Welcome back. Nigeria's House of Representatives has reaffirmed its commitment to providing essential support to the nation's military in addressing the ongoing insecurity challenges across the country. The chairman of the House Committee on Army made this known following the budget defense of the Army, which held as an executive session which the Chief of Army Staff and other senior officers attended. Now, residents
we have analyzed and scrutinized the 2024 budget, and more importantly, before we move into 2025, we ask so many fundamental questions, particularly what is happening in the country and the way forward. And this is a security committee. They give us some security inputs, whereby we have to support them to see that in the next in a short of time, they have addressed the question of this insecurity.
And now we return to an earlier report regarding the bombing in, or rather the accidental airstrike in Kandi, or rather Kankidawa Gidangoga community. And we have our News Central correspondent, Bagudu, in the area. Bagudu, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you very much. We tried reaching you before, but we're glad to have you now. If you'd please give us first-hand information what the situation is currently, that would be good.
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon from Gusau. I'm just coming back from Kankidawa, Tungarkara, and then Gidangoga communities, all in Maradun and Zurmi local government area of Zamfara State. I visited the scene of the bomb explosion. Talking about Tungarkara, and I got an information from the community members where they told me that actually it happened. A combined, forces of vigilante members, the Askarawas. The Askarawa is a state, created vigilante group created by Governor Dauda Lawal. The combined force from Kankidawa, Gidangoga, and then Tungarkara, both of them came together to go to Gidandodowa to rescue Gidandowa community from bandits. So on their way coming back, of course, they successfully chased the bandit away, even though the bandits managed to steal some things. But on their way coming back, the Air Force jet now came in. When they saw the Air Force jet, they probably thought it's a backup. They didn't know that they were the primary target. And then the bomb was released on them, and it led to the killing of some of their members, and some of their members were injured. So that is the situation. And on my way coming back, I ran into the deputy governor, Mumuni, who came to Gidangoga to commiserate with the community members, and then of course to give the donation coming from the state governor, where the state governor made it clear that it is not 16 people that died, that from his records, the number of persons that died are 13 in number, not 16. And number of persons that sustained injury are 10, not 12 or 13 as it's been alleged. So he announced the donation of about 500,000 naira to be given to each of the persons that are injured. And then an undisclosed amount was also donated to the families that lost their loved ones during the air mishap. That has been the development so far, so good this afternoon. And this is the first time an intervention is being made since the Sunday evening bomb blast. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel. But I heard you there mention that these were actually vigilantes who themselves had just returned from an operation. You also earlier reported that some of the injured victims were discharged from the hospital. Have you seen any of them since?
Yes, I met a lot of them. I met the one that is most injured. According to the governor, the man is injured 3 times. He had 2 fractures on his shoulders, on his 2 shoulders, and he have one of his right leg is also fractured. So the governor actually announced that he is going to be transferred to the physiotherapy hospital in Wamako, that's in Sokoto State. And then I met some that had minor injuries. Some just had very minor injuries. Some are even at the primary health center at Gidangoga, and they are currently receiving treatment. And I was told by the chief medical director of Kauramoda General Hospital that all the patients, all the victims are responding to treatment, and are being catered for by the state government, by the government officials who actually visited. Yeah.
Emmanuel, apart from the cash donations, what other welfare package is being given to the people who have been affected by this airstrike?
Yes, there is no, for those that have actually lost their lives, there is an undisclosed amount. The governor said he's going to announce it much later, but he doesn't want to announce it while right now, that's too early. He actually wants to see what other, he's still consulting and he's still collating, because there are reports that there are some people who are unconfirmed reports. Unconfirmed reports that there are some people who are displaced. and there are some people who are not included in the list. That is very possible that he is going to have more names. So a lot of arrangement is being done. He said this is just a starting point. That of course, as the week runs through, he is going to announce all the packages for each and every one of each person being affected, each community being affected by this erroneous airstrike. That has been the report from the governor, who was represented by his deputy today at Gidangoga. Thank you.
Now, Emmanuel, this must be about the third time we've heard in recent time of these erroneous airstrikes by the Nigerian Air Force. Now, is there a system perhaps that has been looked into that could involve collaboration with the state governments, the Nigerian Air Force, even the traditional rulers, or at least some kind of intel that will help so these instances are averted?
Yes, if you look at the content of the statement of the Nigerian Air Force, which was released yesterday night and is already on the news platform this morning and this afternoon, the content says that the Nigerian Air Force is releasing, or rather has ordered an investigative panel. In fact, is going to send a fact-finding, troops to come into those communities to find out what really happened, so that to avoid that, to avoid future occurrence. So, of course, we went to the communities. We're in the communities for at least 3-4 hours since early in the morning. We didn't see any Air Force. We are yet to see any Air Force, official coming to do fact-finding. We're yet to see any military official coming to do fact-finding. But the content of that statement actually, shows that there is plan to avoid future occurrence. That is what a literal meaning of fact-finding means. Because once these facts are being released, these facts are, the error is being discovered. Probably they will sit back to the table, go back drawing board, sit with the various operations, Operation Fansayama, Operation Hadarin Daji, and all that. They'll sit together. All the air components and the ground components will sit together and probably sit and look at the report of the fact-finding and then try to see how they can avoid this, because this is becoming so notorious, this is becoming so embarrassing. And I think something is actually needs urgent attention, because the people have made it clear that they are not happy and that they will not take it. In fact, most of them say they will not take it lightly if it happens again, because it happened in Sokoto and it's also happening now. So we are going to release to you the full report by evening of all their submissions, because they believe that they were a primary target, because they said they came out, their children came out to go and defend the neighboring community from bandits, and they successfully did that. And all of a sudden, an Air Force jet appears from nowhere. They thought the Air Force jet was coming to support them. All of a sudden, the jet, landed on their children. And so they are calling on the government to, act fast. And whatever fact-finding team they have sent, they should act fast. They'll start coming immediately, and they are willing to give them relevant information so that this will not happen again. Yeah.
Emmanuel Bagudu, want to say thank you very much for that stellar reporting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now moving on. Residents of Papalada, a satellite town or community in Sahara State, say they remain shocked over the murder of Salome Adaidu by a youth in the community. They say the alleged murder for alleged ritual purposes, which has taken the headlines in the last 2 days, has cast fear on the community as many youth have fled for their lives. Salome was allegedly murdered by a youth in the community known as Timi Ajayi, who was apprehended with her head as he tried to deliver it to unknown accomplices. Abia State government has declared that it is in the hands of the judiciary staff to call off the ongoing strike and accept payments released by the government. Commissioner for Information, Abia State, Oke Kanu, during a press briefing at the Government House in Umuahia on the outcome of the State Executive Council meeting, said government has provided funds for the judiciary to pay their workers. The Special Advisor to the Governor on Media and Publicity, Ferdinand Okeoma, and Chief Press Secretary Okoha Njoku, Okoha also said the judiciary workers are making demands that are beyond the government to handle.
And funds have been released to them to that effect, and up to this moment, no payments have been made. So the problem is these are not that of government. And I think I read all the figures that have been released to them, about 300-something million. So what's the problem? Why haven't they made the payments? That's the issue. So they should hold their management responsible.
The government has not run against the structure, the salary structure. Before, while others were being paid 35,000 as minimum wage. They were being paid 40,000. Now the state government minimum wage is now 70,000 for other workers, and theirs should be 80,000. And I think what the government has presented is about 83,000, and they are talking about 90-something thousand. These things they are saying are not realistic because you don't have resources that are not limited. You need to take care of other challenges. It's not only the judiciary that exists in the state.
You can't just go in and sit down, come up with figures and send to the government to pay. And when the government is saying, come, let's sit and talk, we are saying you are not coming to sit because you are independent.
The high rate of out-of-school children has continued to increase, raising concerns for stakeholders. With children touted as the leaders of tomorrow, the issue of a sound education prepares them for the task ahead of them. However, the problem of rising cases of out-of-school children threatens the very foundation needed for these future leaders. News Central's Chizoba Janurary in Jos, the Plateau State capital, takes a look at this development.
So many pupils within the primary level of education resumed for the 2024-2025 academic session on Monday. Sadly, many of their peers did not, and these ones seem not to have hopes of ever attending a school to get educated. Statistics from the National Mass Education Program Initiative says among the states in Nigeria, Kebbi has the highest rate of out-of-school children with 66.4%, while Anambra has the lowest, 2.9%, and Plateau in the North Central Zone has a 23.2% rate. With these statistics, Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children in the world, and this is against the backdrop of the facts that it has free and compulsory education policy for children in the country. What is the reason behind this high rate of out-of-school children, especially in Plateau State?
Particularly for us on the Plateau, we have the issue of mining activities by learners who are supposed to be in school. We have the issue of insecurity that is being nipped in the bud. We have the issues of strike, persistent strike. We also have the issue of poverty that people hinge upon. Sometimes it's more of fiction than reality.
In the face of poverty, insecurities, and other barriers that seem to be the major reasons behind these high rates, the question on the lips of many is, what is the way forward in Plateau State?
Government is working on building centers for displaced persons to be able to, so as not to lose out completely. And then for the mining aspect, we are working on legislation so as to ensure that school-going age children are back to school. These are some areas in which we are working upon to ensure that the out-of-school syndrome is curtailed to the barest minimum on the plateau.
Now, as plans of government are still being waited upon, stakeholders have been urged to wade into this fight against the alarming rate of out-of-school children in the state. In Jos, Plateau State, for News Central, Chizoba Janurary.
Now, members of the Radio, Television, Theatre and Art Workers Union of Nigeria, RATAO, Lagos State Council, today staged peaceful protests at the LTV complex in Ikeja. The group used the protest to call on the government concerning the non-implementation of the new minimum wage, as well as addressing issues concerning non-migration of workers to the Oracle platform, which they say would facilitate easier payment of salaries and benefits. News Central's Benedict Kede tells us more in this next report.
It's an unusual Monday morning at the complex of Lagos State Television in Ikeja as the main gate is under lock and key. But what is even more unusual is the sound of solidarity chants that can be heard from inside. Radio, Television, Theatre and Art Workers Union of Nigeria, RATAO, Lagos State Council, staging a 3-day warning strike after it seemed their complaints to the state government had yielded no results.
We, the workers of Radio Lagos, Eco FM, Traffic Radio and Lagos Television, we are here in solidarity to demand for an urgent demand from the governor of Lagos State. And that demand has been lingering for long, and is the migration of our member to Oracle payment system platform, which will enable them to have prompt payment of their salary.
In the last 3 or 5 months, they have not benefited a dime from the minimum wage, and this should not be the case. These are the geese that laid the golden hairs. I think it's high time this state government becomes more media friendly and attend to the needs of the media.
While security operatives stood guard to avoid the situation escalating, the protesting workers went on a peaceful procession round the complex, which houses radio and TV stations, stating that if their demands were not met, they would take their protests to another level.
There was an initial 10-day ultimatum, there was another 21-day ultimatum, and finally a 7-day ultimatum. And several meetings have been held with the commissioner, with some of the people in the establishment department, and some other agencies of government towards resolving this issue. This issue has lingered for years. We are praying for a positive response, because I learned the State Executive Council is meeting right now on this matter. But if they refuse to iron it out, to solve the problem, we go back to the drawing board, we go back to the round table and decide on an indefinite strike action.
The workers then proceeded to take their placards outside the complex while still chanting songs of solidarity, believing that their voices will make a difference soon.
Clearly not your regular Monday morning at the broadcast house here in Alausa, Ikeja. The workers here are agitating for what they believe should be their rights and their benefits, that they be migrated to the Oracle paying platform and that the new minimum wage be implemented so that their lives can be made easy. They say if things do not get better, what will come next will be a complete shutdown of operations. In Lagos for News Central, I'm Bernard Akede.
Now, following the emergence of Senator John Azuta Mbata as the new President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide, residents of Umuahia, Abia State Capital, southeast Nigeria, want him to focus on uniting the Igbo nation amongst themselves, as well as strengthening friendships with other tribes in the country. The new executive has also been tasked to work toward the release of Nnamdi Kanu from detention. News Central's Chinwe Ogele reports.
Process of choosing leaders comes leadership itself. Ohanaeze Ndigbo has over the years had leaders from the 5 southeast states and now has on the saddle of its leadership an Igbo from Rivers State. While setting agenda for the new leadership, the people say its major focus should be to secure the release of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu.
When Nnamdi Kanu is released, I think southeast we have a relief of some certain things.
The people are confident that the new president can live up to expectations and prove naysayers wrong.
So one of the things is for him to unite all of us. Let him write his name in the gold from rivers. Let him do something others never did. So that is what we want him to do. And if I were to vote, I would have voted for him. So let him surprise us.
They let them be united among themselves. Because when a house is divided, you can't start.
A splinter group of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, which also allegedly conducted an election in Rivers State and produced a different person as president, continues to question the unity of the Apex Igbo socio-cultural organization.
So we want to see a leader who cuts across other ethnic groups in Nigeria. The Igbos are not existing alone or in isolation in Nigeria. Igbos are part and parcel of the bigger society called Nigeria. And I want to see in Senator Mbata, as expected, that he will reach out to other ethnic groups so that we can build a stable society.
Bishop Sunday Onoha says anyone laying claim to a parallel body ought to define their status.
All of them stand. These are distinguished men of Igbo extraction who have provided leadership globally in Nigeria and to the Igbo nation. And those men are there. So I will ask any other person claiming any other thing about his succession.
While Senator Azotambata sets to accomplish the tasks ahead, one of his assignments must include seeking reconciliation with the aggrieved members. In Omaha for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugele.
Since Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took office in 2023, the West African nation has seen a growing push for regional development commissions to address economic and geopolitical challenges. In this Explainer News Central's Sagir Ibrahim examines their purpose, benefits, and the concerns that they raise. Take a look.
Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones have varying developmental challenges, and this disparity has led to calls for the establishment of development commissions to address issues unique to each region. The push for regional development commissions stems from the need for targeted solutions to regional issues. For instance, the Niger Delta needed interventions for oil-related environmental degradation, while the Northeast required rebuilding due to insurgency. Other zones, including the Northwest, the Southwest, the Southeast, and the North Central, sought solutions to ecological challenges, infrastructural deficit, and poverty alleviation. President Bola Tinubu's administration streamlined oversight of the Regional Development Commissions by renaming the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs to the Ministry of Regional Development. This body now supervises the activities of the various Regional Development Commissions in Nigeria. Here's a brief recap of the different Regional Development Commissions. The Niger Delta Development Commission, also known as the NDDC, was established in the year 2000 to address the developmental challenges of the oil-producing Niger Delta region, which spans states in the Southeast, the South-South, and the Southwest region. The Northeast Development Commission, the NEDC, was set up in 2017 to rebuild and rehabilitate areas affected by insurgency in states like Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa. The Northwest and Southeast Development Commissions, both established in 2024, focus on addressing regional challenges. These were assented to by President Bola Tinubu in the year 2024. The South, South, and North Central Development Commissions are proposed to address infrastructural deficits and other challenges affecting the respective regions. After scaling second reading at different times in 2024, the National Assembly has yet to pass the bills for the third reading. The North Central Development Commission, NCDC, has yet to be established. However, the bill passed its third reading in July 2024, and proponents hope it will soon address the developmental needs of the region. It's also important to clarify the distinction between the NDDC and the proposed South-South Development Commission, the SSDC. And the NDDC's mandate covers a wider area, including some states outside the South-South geopolitical zone. The SSDC, if established, would be exclusively focused on the South-South, addressing its unique challenges and ensuring equitable resource distribution among its member states, regardless of oil production levels. In the 2025 budget, 2.493 trillion naira was allocated to regional commissions as follows: NDDC at 776 billion naira, NWDC 585 billion, SWDC got an allocation of 498 billion, the SEDC got an allocation of 341 billion naira, while the NEDC got a total allocation of 291 billion. The Senate recently amended the Commission's funding mechanism, mandating that 15% of member state statutory allocations supplement their finances, a decision met with mixed reactions. Now, there's been concerns and sentiment, especially about the North Central's exclusion from the 2025 budget allocations. It has reignited public outcry, with many Nigerians demanding equity among the different regions. President Bola Tinubu has emphasized the importance of the Commission in fostering regional development and expressed confidence that they will drive equitable growth across the country. In Lagos, Sagir Ibrahim for News Central.
Coming up, Somali forces neutralize its fighters, or rather fighters, in Puntland offensive. Details after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, Somali security forces have reportedly killed several Islamic State fighters and seized 8 jihadist outposts in a military operation targeting the semi-autonomous Puntland region. Officials on Monday said the operation was concentrated in the Kal Miskat Mountains of the Bari region. According to a statement from the Puntland Army, troops gained control of 8 IS military outposts. This also includes a key stronghold in a mountainous region. We're going to break now, and when we get back, we have more news. Welcome back. Let's do that again. Somali security forces have reportedly killed several Islamic State fighters and seized 8 jihadist outposts in a military operation targeting the semi-autonomous Puntland region. Officials on Monday said the operation was concentrated in the Kal Miskat Mountains of the Bari region. According to a statement from the Puntland Army, troops gained control of 8 IS military outposts, including a key stronghold in the mountains. Several gunmen, including foreign fighters, were killed during the offensive. While Islamic State's presence in Somalia is smaller compared to the Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab, experts warn of its growing influence last year. A United Nations counter-terrorism official flagged an uptick in the IS-linked activities across Somalia, Mozambique, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, Police Minister Senzo Mchunu and Mineral Resource and Energy Minister Gwede Manteshe have visited Stilfontein mine in the northwest, where a large-scale rescue operation for illegal miners trapped underground is underway. Minister's visit coincides with the third and final phase of a large-scale operation to dismantle the illicit mining network. On Monday, rescuers deployed a cage to retrieve the first group of miners, marking a significant step in the recovery process. So far, 56 miners have been rescued alive and extracted, while 15 deceased miners have been retrieved since day one. Now, in the wake of devastating fires ravaging Los Angeles, a major community donation center has been established in the parking lot of a local shopping mall to assist affected residents. The center is providing critical supplies, including food, water, toiletries, and other donated essentials to those in need. Volunteers and organizations have mobilized, working tirelessly to collect and distribute these items to help those grappling with the aftermath of the disaster. Scenes of solidarity and hope unfold as hundreds of people sort through donations, clothing, children's toys, bottled water, sanitary products, and face masks, which are crucial to protect against the heavy smoke still hanging in the air. Located in the heart of Arcadia, the donation center will remain operational for as long as necessary, offering relief to residents as they begin the difficult journey toward recovery. And on this, I'm joined by our international correspondent, Afia Hagen. Afia, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Once again, we come to you for updates on the fire burning through LA. What's the latest?
Well, this is a really crucial day for firefighters, day 8 of these fires raging. And this is a day where the near hurricane winds, those Santa Ana winds, are forecast yet again. And those winds were really instrumental in spreading, especially the Palisades and the Eaton fires last week. So those winds are back for today, and real concerns that red flag alert for those winds, that the winds could spread the fires even more so than they have been already. You know, the Palisades fire has burned around 25,000 acres and is 14% contained. The Eaton fire burned thousands of acres as well and 33% contained. A smaller fire has started as well that's burnt about 50 acres. In comparison to the other two fires, it's smaller, but yet still as destructive. 24 people have died in these fires, 23 people remain missing, and 90,000 people still under those evacuation orders. And as I said, today a crucial day because you have the winds whipping up the fires, but also lots of people being warned to stay indoors because of the smoke and the ash in the air in the area.
And what about investigation? Excuse me. But what about investigations, Afia?
Well, yes, how the fires got started is a really, really big question. So the Eaton fire was one of the biggest fires, and 2 lawsuits have been filed against an energy company called Southern California Edison. And this is alleging that the utilities company failed to de-energize its power equipment and clear brush, that's sort of the dry ground near its stations, when a blaze sparked near Pasadena. So these complaints have been filed to the Los Angeles court on behalf of people whose homes and properties have been destroyed. So we can expect to see investigators there. Now, arson investigators have also been out in force in the area of where the Palisades fire started. They've been walking around the Pacific Palisades neighborhood to try and see if there's any evidence that that fire was started deliberately at all. And if it was, then you could probably expect to see lawsuits and the police certainly looking for the perpetrators involved, because people have had their homes, their lives destroyed, and will be looking for compensation in that case.
Well, Afia, I want to say thank you. I'm sure through the day we'll still be coming back to you for more updates. Thank you very much. Welcome now in business. The recent rebasing of Nigeria's gross domestic product now incorporates pension funds administrators, highlighting the sector's economic importance. Announced during a workshop by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group and the National Bureau of Statistics, the revised GDP includes previously omitted activities such as digital economy operations and modular refineries. Experts have praised this development, noting that the pension industry manages over 21 trillion naira in assets and plays a crucial role in supporting financial markets. Wonu Kunlebelu, head of funds and investment manager ratings at Augusto & Co., disclosed the significance of the pension industry's role in the GDP rebasing plan and its support for Nigeria's bond and investment markets on Business Edge.
The pension industry is a significant part of Nigeria's financial services sector today. If you think about it, pensions on their own, they provide the largest pool of funds, investable funds, which is used to support the traditional banking system. So when I say that, what I mean is that, pension funds, this 21 trillion is invested back into the real sector with the government. So, pension funds go ahead to support real sector growth. It goes ahead to support funding for working capital needs for operators in these sectors. To put it into a bit more context, if you think about the insurance industry within the financial services subsector, insurance assets are, under 4 trillion, by estimate. And if you look at that and you look at the contributions to GDP, it's about 0.4%. And insurance has been part of the GDP calculation for years now. So I think it's about time that we had pensions included as well as a subsector of the financial services. If you look at the Nigeria's bond, debt capital markets and money markets, what you find is deficit units, that means companies in the real sector, even the government that need funding, they come here and they're looking for funds. And then you find surplus units like the PFAs, insurance companies, asset management companies, and these provide funds. So these funds that...
And indeed, that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories that we brought your way. Petrol set to cost more as depot owners rise costs to 950 naira per litre. And police have threatened to sue Amnesty International over death claims in End Bad Governance protest report. And we also told you that rescue operations for trapped illegal miners has resumed in South African mine shaft. And that's it on the news this hour, but do remember you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Evo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazir Appeal.